Hi you guys, welcome and welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and today we're going to be doing an overview, unboxing, and review of the Knit Pro Oasis interchangeable crochet hooks. So first off, we'll set this to the side. This is what we're going to receive. This is the box here, shows you everything that's in here. Now I do have the smaller set, which includes everything from a 2.2 millimeter to a 5 millimeter hook, I believe. Yes, 5 millimeter. I did purchase this off of Amazon. I will have a link for this as well as the next size up, which has the 5.5 millimeter to 10 millimeter sizes, I believe. Might be 11 millimeter, but there are also extra handles available to purchase as well. So I will have links for all three of those. I will have the Amazon link, and I may have other available links as well. The price for the set that I purchased currently as of filming is $49, but the price fluctuates on Amazon in particular. So they're anything from $45 to $65 depending on, you know, what sales are available at that time. I do believe I paid $45 at the time I purchased, $45 or $49 at the time I purchased this. It's been about a month and a half now. So I have spent some time with this. I have done some swatching, just some different, you know, crocheting in the car, crocheting in the bed, crocheting on the sofa, crocheting at the computer. I took some time to take this with me, kind of more like I did with the Wool Genie review, except I didn't film anything. I just wanted to experiment to see how different positions made my hand and wrist feel using this hook. So that is the outside box. What we get on the inside is this really nice case. And this is a nice, you know, firm, hard case. We do have a magnetic snap closure. And when we open this up, because I flipped it upside down and I didn't have these snapped all the way in, we do have our set here. So we have a tape measure, scissors, we have stitch markers, which are actually, there is a slot here that these are stuck into, which I think is brilliant. We have our wooden handle, and then we have our hook heads going from 2 millimeter to 5 millimeter. Now I will say these are inline hook heads, which are not my preferred style hook. I am more of a tapered hook person. So for me, we were already starting out of the gate where we knew these would not be, you know, my personal favorite. But as I say with every hook review I do here, I am reviewing for the purpose of quality, not my personal preference, because every single one of us will have a different personal favorite hook. It's going to fit in our hands the way we want it to. It's going to feel right. It's going to be the right weight. It's going to be the right shape. And that is so personal to each of us as individuals. And that is an exceptionally important thing to understand. So when I say these might not be my favorite, and we knew this out of the gate because these are in line, it doesn't mean there is anything wrong with these hooks. My preferred hook, just for comparison's sake, is the Clover Amour. This is a tapered head, tapered neck. And these have a moderately deep throat. Generally, for any other hook, I would prefer a much deeper throat than these have. But because of the shape, the fit, and everything else, these somehow catch my work perfectly, even with the more shallow throat. The hook head on the Oasis is also fairly shallow, but we do have a nice sharp beak to the head here. And the beak and the peak are both very sharp and agile, which is, in my opinion, for an inline hook, those are exceptionally important because you need this to catch your yarn. You need this to be very sloped and sharp there. And in order to maneuver through your stitches, you do want a nice domed peak on your hook. As you can see, this is that fairly smooth finish. There's a little bit of visible texture, just because this is, it feels matte, but looks shiny. I don't know how to describe that any other way. I don't have vocabulary in order to describe that another way. So for our $40 to $60, this is what we're getting. The other size is the same setup. It just has different size hook heads. I do believe that the screw in piece is the same on both sets. So if you have, you know, like both sets and you needed an extra handle for your small ones or your large ones, I do believe that it's just the one size handle here. So this is a decently weighty wood handle. And we do have the metal finding on the inside to screw everything in. But as you can see, there's no like glue or anything else that's going to impede our threads. I will say the piece in here is matte. And once again, these also have that matte feel to them. So it is a little, I don't want to say squeaky because that's not the right word, but it is a little dry, especially the first couple times inserting your hooks, turning your hook in. But you can see it goes in very nicely. We do have a rubber pad here, so we can really grip that and make sure that we've got it seated. Although I will say, unless you're doing something, you know, maybe with the smaller hooks, but something very tight, like amigurumi or something, I did not have any issues with just finger tightening these to do my test runs and work my little small project with these. So that's what the large hook looks like in the handle. And then we can, by comparison, this is what our small hook, our 2mm, looks like in our handle. So just our initial quality check here. I do have to say I was very pleased. I've never been displeased with a Knit Pro Knitter's Pride product. If you're familiar, I think I have done Knitter's Pride items here. This is the same company. Knitter's Pro, I believe, used to be the European name, and it was Knitter's Pride in North America. Now they're just consolidating the name to just be Knit Pro across the board. I've said before, I prefer their interchangeable cables from their needle sets, or I prefer the Knit Picks ones, cables for their needle sets, but their needles are fantastic. And it was just nice that those were fits before. And I think I've also shared on here my interchangeable Tunisian set that is also a Knitter's Pride Knitter's Pro collection as well. So this is not the first time this company has made an appearance here on the channel. I think I also reviewed the Mindful needle when I got that. So yeah, I really like how everything is here. I do always love a good, once again, a good complete kit. This is the kind of thing. For me, you know, I do 9 million projects and I need the same hook and different hooks constantly. But if I were traveling and say going to be out of town for a week or two, I would probably take something like this on my trip with me versus trying to take my book of my amours. Flying, you might want to pull your scissors out, even though they meet the requirements lengthwise. Airlines get a little weird. It is what it is. But I would probably, you know, this is the kind of thing for me personally, I would take if I was not going to be home, or, you know, here on the channel, you guys have been with me for 2 moves now, 2 home moves. And You know, things like when I went into temporary housing with both of those moves, this is something I would easily take with me in those cases. That way I have everything available. It would annoy me to have to keep switching the handles back and forth, but for the, you know, purpose of saving space, it would definitely be something that would help. Now, somebody who is more project monogamous or is working on a lot of projects where you need to change your hook size regularly. So if you're doing a crocheted sweater where, you know, to taper for the waist, you know, you're going to drop down 2 hook sizes instead of, you know, decreasing stitches. And I see that in a lot of dress patterns as well. And then you're going to need a different size hook to do any of your trim work, to make a, you know, firm border at the collar or the cuffs and things like that. This would be a great toolkit to have for those projects. That way you have all of the hooks you would need here, and all you're doing is just switching out the hook head from your handle. So even like for me, who is not a project monogamous person, something like crocheting a dress where I need like 3 or 4 hook sizes, I would definitely keep this in that project bag, and that way everything would be available as needed, and that way I could take that project with me on the go and not have to worry about, oh, did I remember to grab, you know, the other 3 hook sizes. So the one project that I did as a project with this, where I was messing with the hooks, was a little headscarf, handkerchief, kerchief thing. And this is using a just DK weight yarn that I had in my stash. This is Urban Chic from Yarn Bee. It was a clearance out yarn like 6 years ago. And it's this is a acrylic and nylon blend, I believe. So I did the entire kerchief. We have single crochets, double crochets, picots. We worked in the sides of stitches. We worked through the tops of stitches. This was using the 4mm or 4.5 millimeter hook head. So that is a US size 7. So this is, I probably spent the most time with the 2 largest, which is the H and the 7, or the 4.5 millimeter and the 5 millimeter size hooks. So, having spent my time using this, how do I feel about it overall? I think the quality and the construction is fantastic. Again, Knitters Pro or Knit Pro does make excellent quality items. Their items are not, prone to any particular flaws or damage or anything like that I have experienced. We do have a little bit more weight in the hook overall, especially for these smaller sizes, than I expected. Part of that is our base is a weightier base, and part of that is the all metal head, shaft, and connector. So I do like having this. I don't know what their purpose other than decorative might have been for having this big disc here, but because of the way I have to hold this while I crochet, I was holding weight up here for my hand and my hold. And that gave me a really comfortable position that was very stable feeling in my hand. So I was very overall pleased with that. Now, like I said, this is not my preferred hook shape, as I do prefer the tapered hook shape. So it was a little bit harder for me to maneuver around the edge of the hook, which is where a lot of that becomes an issue for me personally. I know a lot of people love an inline hook, and there is nothing wrong with an inline hook. It's just personal preference. So for the way I crochet, it's a little bit slower and a little bit more fidgety have to be a little bit more cautious in the way I'm using it, but there's nothing, once again, wrong. It's not a defect of the hook or a problem with the hook. It's just my personal preference and what I'm using. So you can see this is just a little scrap of cupcake or mandala from Lion Brand. And you can see that we've got nice glide. That's a 100% acrylic yarn. And I am, using the camera to see what I'm doing. So it's also going to be a little bit slower anyway, but it's got a nice, comfortable glide. This did actually go very well on cotton. I wish I had gotten the one size up, because I probably would have been able to test this a little bit more if I'd gone one size up and gotten the large hook set instead of the small sizes hook set, because I do have a lot more, worsted weight projects on deck that I've been looking at doing. So things like pot holders and stuff like that would have been a lot easier, because if I'd had that 5.5 millimeter instead of just the 5 millimeter, that was a little too tight for the yarns I was trying to work with. But you can see, we're not having any catching. There's no issue with glide. And you can see how I'm holding up here. Now, because of how I'm holding it, my hand did fatigue quicker using this hook. But again, this is not my magic handle. I do prefer, just for comfort, the shape of the Amore. My fingers have places to rest, which decreases strain in my hand. But this is a shape that is very comfortable for a lot of people. So if a tapered barrel shape is, what's comfortable for you, again, that's not something that's going to be an issue for you personally. But for me, it is a little bit of a different hold, and it's a little bit harder to let my fingers float and rest compared to, what I am used to. So overall, I once again was able to get a nice 2-gauge project. I had no issue getting the hook head into the picot stitches. So that was a chain 3 slip in the first chain picot. I had no issue getting my hook into that first chain stitch to create my picots. I had 0 issues with the picking up of stitches, working my single crochet. I didn't have any extra splittage or anything like that. We ran through the yarn very smooth. We had a very consistent tension. We didn't have any extra tension being added because of the hook. So I would say, based on the construction, the quality, the weight, you do want a hook that has some weight. This is a little bit heavier than most hooks. I think I can put here on screen the weight difference between these two 4.5 millimeters. So, we are looking at, a definite difference in the weight there. So if you need something that's more lightweight, this might not be the perfect hook for you. If you like something with a medium weight, I think this could be fine. If you like a heavy hook, this is probably maybe a little light for you. But if you like that, good weight, solid weight hook, this would definitely work well for you. And like I said, most of that weight is here in the handle. The handle itself is actually quite heavy, and you can see that the wood is just right there. So this is, a solid wood handle with the metal finding inside to allow it to screw in. Everything screws in very tightly. There's no play at least for these first couple of months. I didn't immediately end up with play and wiggle room here in the handle, which is really important. The accessories that come with your case, I think, are all appropriate, good, nice to have, especially if this is going to be something that you're going to toss in your bag and go. So overall, based on everything I've said, everything I experienced while working with these hooks, I'm going to go ahead and give these hooks a B+, A-. So the weight for me is very heavy. So I am actually going to me, that's a very important thing. And I am going to say these are maybe leaning towards the too heavy. But if you are used to using solid wood hooks and you just wanted something with a metal head, or you're looking for something that maybe has a little bit more weight to it, these are 100% a viable option for you. These are high quality, very nicely made. The case comes in, it's very nice. I am a firm believer in investing in your tools that you're going to be using project after project after project after project. These are things you're going to be spending a lot of time with. So I believe it is worth the cost investment of purchasing this kit. The value is in the kit. The cost, I mean, even up to the $60 price tag for the set, when you think about everything that you're getting, especially if you're project monogamous or using this, like I said, in cases of a project where you need multiple size hooks for the same project, this is a very easy, convenient way to have everything together instead of having to clear out your hook stash to find everything you need. So I think nice quality, well planned, well thought out, great execution. Would consider, if these were taper headed, getting the other size, just because, you know, something like this is always nice to have on hand as an option. I use a combination of interchangeable knitting needles and fixed circulars all the time. So, you know, having an interchangeable crochet set is actually not out of the realm of norm for me. And like I said, there's very project specific things where I would definitely see the use case for this. So if you like an inline hook shape, if you're looking for something with a smooth action and smooth head, I do wish these were a little bit darker so you could better read the sizes. But it is very clearly marked on there. It is painted. So that is something to just be aware of, but it is outside of your general rub point there. If it were, say, on the barrel, your hands would be in constant contact and that would rub off very quickly. Where that's located, you have a little bit less chance of that rubbing off, so you'll be able to see for longer. But that is the Knit Pro Oasis. And like I said, this is the smaller hook size. I will leave links down below if you're interested, if this is something you were looking for. Maybe that'll help you do your shopping. And also start adding things to a list for sale watching. I do appreciate a good deal. I'm just saying, not something I will ever judge somebody for. Being conscientious with our dollars is a very, very smart thing to be. And other than that, have you had any experience with the Knit Pro Oasis? Do you like them? Do you love them? Do you hate them? What has your experience been? How was the weight for you? How do you grip these? I do think this would be comfortable if you were to do a pencil grip as well as the overhand grip. If this is your style of hook, I don't see any reason why, you know, if you're a pencil gripper, that wouldn't be just as comfortable. So how do you grip this style of a handle? What feels natural to you? I would love to hear your insight as well. I'm very pleased. Once again, it's another high quality product from Knit Pro. And I think this is, you know, far more universal than some of the other things that I have seen before as far as use case. So I love you guys. I hope you are having a wonderful, fantastic day. As always, I look forward to seeing you real soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye.